Yeah, I'd say it's been just about a month or so since I last saw you.
Yeah, I'd believe that actually.
Due to the unfortunate events of the coronavirus that have occurred
Yeah.
in our lives. It's crazy. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about it. I wasn't expecting to get it at all.
I mean, hopefully on the bright side, your antibodies will keep you healthy.
Yeah. I'm going with on the fact that I'm immune right now. I don't know if that's right, but that is what I'm assuming. And I'm still wearing masks out. I still sanitize my hands. I don't want to get re-sick with something else. You
I
good?
had a mask somewhere. I had a really cool mask. I'd
Somewhere.
like to show you. I'll show you after.
Yeah, you have to.
Dude, it's dope as fuck.
Definitely want to see it. So yeah, you've been now quarantining for the past month. Hey, if you're gonna scooch a little to your right, yes, I was about to say left. That's perfect. You're perfect. Because if you sway too far to your left, you're just off screen.
Shit, okay.
It cuts your head off. But anyway, so you've been quarantining the last month. Again, you've been re-quarantining.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, because I did 2 weeks. Well, okay, I did the original stuff, of course, but I did 2 weeks full on by myself.
Yeah,
we can discuss, but I want to hear you doing your 30 days.
No, so it started off with my whole thing is I don't mind if I get it. That's the thing. I don't really care.
Right.
But I'm around both my family and Jess so often that it just if I contract it, most likely they're gonna get it. And as of research found out, I think last week, 2 weeks ago, I'm actually the only person in my family who's not high risk now. Because I don't know if you've heard, but recently they've come out with studies that a lot of our younger generation, the ones that are dying, aren't dying because hypoxia, anything like that. It's because they're getting blood clots. So of course, now having like growing up with a protein C deficiency, finding out.
I was gonna say, I thought you were prone to.
I'm fine. Yeah. Actually, 2 years ago, we got retested, and I tested negative for the disorder.
Oh, fantastic! I think I knew that. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm just so used to. Well,
Yeah.
we grew up the whole time with you unable to do football,
hockey,
anything
lacrosse.
that was very, very high contact because it was a risk. Which I don't blame you for not doing those, even as much as you wanted to. It's kind of hard. So.
But yeah. So now because of that, and because of the fact that my older brother and little sister have it, and my dad also has it, and then my mom has asthma. Like I am officially the only person in my family of 5 that
wouldn't matter, right? Wouldn't matter. Yeah, it's that's the whole thing about it is you have to take. It's like when people talk about the masks and all that. It's like it's really not about you. That's really what it comes down to. Like at least this is now my view of it now that I've gotten it. And first off, I took it very serious before. I was at the time, my girlfriend, her family was very high risk. I mean, like, dad had just beaten cancer like within the last 6 months.
Dang.
So when the virus hit, so he's been good. Everything's been great, but the fact that his immune system is very compromised is the issue. And I took the precautions from day one. I was wearing a mask when no one was wearing a mask. I remember being at the store and people were like, I still had to go to work, and people would be like, "You're wearing a mask?" Like my coworkers, "You're wearing a mask?" And I'm like, I have to. Like I don't want that on my conscience. I would feel horrible. Yeah. And then I would come home. I would have a change of clothes in the car. First thing I would do would be to go to the bathroom, immediately wash my hands, wash face, shower if I could, and then change into those clothes, and then take my work clothes out, put them in the car, and then disinfect again and go back in. So I took it serious from the get-go, and I always didn't have the whole mask thing to me is like just fucking wear it. It's not that bad. I've been wearing a mask since March. I've been wearing a mask since March. Basically everywhere I go. And it took me about a week and a half to get used to it, I would say. I'll be honest, it sucked at first. It sucked, especially with facial hair. It was annoying. It would ride up, they'd fucking chafe, it fucking hurted. It was annoying. But about a month, about a week and a half, 2 weeks in, it was like, all right, now it's back to normal. And the first mask I had were those big ones. I had bought in like I had bought in a pack of N95 masks for me and everybody at the time. And they were like the big, thick mouth. Like you can barely breathe in them and you're talking like this the whole time. And then now I've got like a thinner mask that fits well and that doesn't even hurt as much. But I did like the hardcore, like, and I remember the mask I had these like metal indents up here and it like dug into I would take it off at the end of the day and I would have like an indent in my nose where the metal was. It was so annoying. So I don't want to hear anything about this bullshit of the masks.
I see. The thing is that I get annoyed when I have to wear a mask that doesn't have like anything around here because, like, of course, if it's just loose up top, you're just gonna be breathing into your eyes and it's super uncomfortable. So like,
I guess that's true. I haven't felt that yet, but I guess that's true. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, no, like every mask I've worn, like the only ones that I've ever had that did that were like the emergency masks where I forgot my main one or something like that, or pretty much anything else. But I like the new designs that people are starting to do now. Like anybody who makes like homemade masks and stuff, like they started making contoured masks, which are working a lot better because they don't have to have the metal parts, but they fit your face as long as they're tight.
Okay.
So like you're pretty protected. I've got more than a few now actually, but like I kind of switch them out. Like I honestly low key think that within the next year we're actually gonna have some mass culture within like any sort of like fashion design stuff like that. Like I've already started seeing it.
Yeah, I've seen it within like just the EDM world. It seems like a lot of people coming out with their own masks and they're like, oh, new merch, and then there's like a mask on the front one. And you're like, whoa, who could have guessed? And yeah, there's I'm sure it's a matter of time before we see the Gucci and Versace masks hit the street with some people. Although I will judge. I will judge.
They're already there.
But I'm sure they are in limited number. But I will judge. That's not there's no reason to pay $250 for a mask with a Gucci symbol on it. I could Sharpie it on there for you if you're really that serious about it.
Yeah, shit, man. I'll take it.
I mean, gosh, knockoff. There's gonna be a whole market for knockoff, expensive masks.
No, I believe it. I to be completely honest, with our generation, I bet that would actually make people start wearing masks.
I think I'm gonna try it now. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a mask on eBay and I'm gonna come up with this absurd hand woven in the mountains of India. It's gonna look like a normal mask, hand woven in the mountains of the Himalayas by Buddhist monks, shipped over here from 3 months ago, and then like have this whole backstory for this mask. I'm gonna put it up for $1 million and just kind of see what happens. I think it's worth it now. I think I should try it. I could see it starting the bid at $100,000.
I mean, to be completely honest, I feel as though that is similar to some quick art that's being made recently. If you've seen any of those people who spend a lot of time getting set up, but the picture that they're painting literally takes maybe a second because they'll just do like the little like swings. Mm-hmm. If you've seen those things will go up on eBay and sell for 20 grand.
No,
because they read a story about them.
We're gonna look it up right now. Hold on.
Yeah. I'll let you take care of the looking up.
Yeah. I gotta figure out what I'm doing again. Here we go. Good old Google. Oh, that's not what we wanted. All right.
Yeah.
So what is these things called again? I gotta see this.
I mean, it's just like a modern day painting. Look up like painting TikTok. That's pretty common now.
Oh, is this where like they
make a video about it?
They make a video about it and then they sell it
for a lot of money.
I've seen them where they do. I've seen it where the girl does like The Office, and she's doing like The Office. It's like a scene from The Office, like "No, Jim, no," and she's just writing it like every time. And it honestly, I thought that one was hysterical, but then she ended up selling the painting. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. I'm not.
No, people make ridiculous amounts of money off that though.
Some of them are cool though. Like that. That looks cool. What is that?
100%.
All right, take it back. I'm a weird out. Oh, Baby Yoda. No, Baby Yoda. I like that one. I'd buy that one. It's so simple,
But
not
yeah.
the real thing.
I honestly think that a mask with a story behind it could make a lot of money.
Well, I think it's time somebody before somebody else does, aka me, tries this hysteria out, because you never know when. I don't know. Maybe I can make some money. Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
There's money to be made. That's for sure. People are making.
But yeah. Well, shit.
It's crazy. What else is going on in this crazy world we got going on? Dude, last time we talked, dude, you're actually off screen the other way now. I hate to say that. It's so funny.
This is so weird.
Yeah, you're perfect right there. I don't.
Right here.
I'm so sorry. All of a sudden, I looked and you're like half cut off. I'm like, oh no. But last time we talked about Chaz. I say last time because last time a month ago we did a podcast and the mic had technical difficulties and no one is ever going to hear that podcast because there's just no point. But yeah, we talked about that Chaz thing in Seattle. Do you know anything else about that that's going on right now? I haven't heard anything.
I have not been keeping up with it. I have shut out most news sources recently. Just it's more and more depressing, and on top of that, actually, you know what? Let's talk about. I'd like to talk about disinformation campaigns. If you ever heard of those.
Let's dive into them. I'm in. I mean, I'm sure there's some I've heard of, no doubt about it.
All right, like, am I allowed to like plug like media on this, like a book?
Okay.
Right.
Give it to me.
So yeah, so I've been reading and like half reading, half listening to, because like, you know, Amazon's pretty dope with like Audible. But there's a book by
I want
a
to
woman
pause you
named...
real quick before we go into this.
Yeah.
You have an Audible account?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of getting one. How worth it is it?
I love it. I mean, the book that I bought for a reason, because the CEO of my company was reading it, and he was like, "Yo, check this out. It's ridiculous. Like, we got an election year coming up. Check it out."
Okay. So can you read and do audio, or is it just audio?
It's just audio, but the cool part is that it will pick up where you left off. And I'm pretty sure it works both ways with the Kindle app as well as Audible, so it will track both.
That's cool. Okay.
So like, you can definitely like read at the same time as listening, if that's something you
get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I'm thinking of getting it because of starting to what?
Car.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking of starting to read books, but like, you know, I mean, I don't know. I'm just debating it. Anyways, okay, cool. So you were reading some book. I had to know. All
right, yeah. So the book is by Teresa Payton.
Okay.
And if memory serves correctly, and you could fact check me on this, I believe she was the CIO of the Bush administration. So the Chief Information Officer.
Gotcha. Who's this lady again? Let's look it up.
Teresa Payton. It's Payton.
Marisa Payton.
Teresa. T-H-E-R-E. Yeah. Teresa Payton. And as far as I'm aware, she was the CIO of, I want to say, the Bush administration. So, of course, her main job was keeping the head on IT security, which I find very interesting. And pretty much this book, it goes into manipulation or disinformation campaigns. The book is called Manipulated. Okay. And they discuss how there have been disinformation campaigns going on since Nixon was president.
That I could.
Oh, 100%, yeah. But
I typed in disinformation page. The first two articles are from freaking.
They were talking about how even like, of course, in 2016, everybody was like raving about how Russia messed with our election results and all that stuff. There's proof that it happened in 2008 as well.
Gotcha.
So
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. This is the definition of disinformation for those who don't know: false information deliberately and often covertly spread by planting rumors in order to influence public opinion or obscure the truth. There
yep.
you go, people. Now you know what we're talking about if you don't know what we're talking about. Oh my
And of
god, a
course,
cat.
that's a huge, like, disinformation campaigns are a huge method of social engineering that quote unquote bad guys want to use in order to get you to do what
What
they
they
want you
want
to do.
you to do. Mm-hmm.
And that's the definition of social engineering.
Some CIA psyops here and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, but really,
I mean,
I find it really funny because, like, all these people talk about, like, conspiracy theories and shit like that, and, like, I'm not a huge fan of conspiracy theories, but, like, the fact that we're being lied to every single day is real, and I think that's really interesting, especially because, like, most of our generation, I don't know if you do this, but I don't really pay attention to the news. I like most of our um most of our generation gets their news from Reddit, Twitter, Facebook.
yeah, I've started using Reddit more on the side
Yeah,
note, but yes, I agree.
but yeah, the interesting part though is that Twitter is still a massive target, especially because, like, well, first off, the president uses it.
Mm-hmm.
Second off, possibly the biggest names in America use it. So, like, everybody, like, pulls up tweets from, like, Elon Musk, of course, Trump, like, pretty much anybody that's high profile they'll go for. And I forget the story that they were talking about within the book. There was a market crash that occurred because a group of hackers hacked into the Twitter account for some news outlet, and they released a fake story that some company was either going to do really well or really poorly, and basically they caused a massive sway in the stock market, and it crashed for a day.
Okay.
Because, of course, like, our economy is pretty solid with recovery and speed like that, but like, shit like that's ridiculous. They typed maybe how many characters do you get, like 144?
I think back then you only got 60. They upped
60
it to
characters.
like 120, I think. Oh no, you're right. It was 120. They upped it to 40. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you can write paragraphs. Yeah, but back then it was 120 characters. I think it was. Yeah.
120 characters to crash the American economy.
Yeah, it's saying this happened in 2013. AP Twitter hack causes panic on Wall Street and sends downward spiral.
Yep. Yeah, I find that stuff so interesting, but of course, like, that's the stuff that I've been reading about, just because, like, of course, being, like, kind of into cybersecurity and shit like that has kind of led into that rabbit hole.
Okay, understandable. Yeah, your whole job and what you're interested in is the protection of assets and information in a sense.
I mean, yeah.
and now you've got people that are saying they're for the protection of it, but then are actively destroying it. Yeah.
I mean, it's big data, and that's not even a conspiracy theory. That's a big thing.
It's a fact. Yeah. Big data. It's crazy to me how there is big data, and then people just kind of are like, like, it's overlooked. Now, I get the argument for it. There's two sides of it. It's one, we're getting all of this free.
Yep.
The internet, you pay to receive internet, but you're not paying to use Google. It's free.
Technically, no.
You're paying in your data, but you're not paying money-wise. They're making the money. But then the question would be okay, are you willing to pay $7 a month to use Google and they don't take your data, or whatever that figure would be? Most people would probably tell you, no, I don't really want to pay. I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know if I would care. But that's the thing, is you're giving away your data. That's why all these services are free. That's why Facebook's free, Instagram, all the social medias you can think of are free. It's because you're just giving away your data, and they get to sell that information.
No, it's my favorite argument, and it's the concept of privacy or freedom versus security.
Right.
So
right.
So you you basically, like, those will always conflict. You get to choose one, you don't get the other. And again, there's like, it's a spectrum, but at the same time, like, when you make recessions, I guess, in your securities, you get more freedom, but it's the same way the other way around. So of course, like, and I hate using this example, when you have people that are actually oppressed, most of the time they could be considered, like, if you are forced to stay in your house, like, you can't do most things, you like, literally like a prison.
Right.
People in there have all of the security they need. Freedoms, none. So it's always a trade-off. Whereas you
Right.
could be, and again, it's an extreme choice. You could be living off the land somewhere out in the Alaskan wilderness. You have all the freedom in the world, but
Now you
your
have no
security
security,
is
right?
severely,
It's dependent on
severely
you.
lacked.
Dependent on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very good analogy. I like that you brought in both sides of the opposite spectrum. And to me, you brought in both extremes of each side.
Oh, 100%.
Obviously,
Yeah.
which is good. I'm glad you didn't compare two different things, because I think those are both very well extremes. There are definitely, majority of the people want to be somewhere in that middle. Not, there's a certain particular
I think
person.
I lost you.
What do you mean? Hello? I think we're having some technical difficulties here. Give us 1 second, folks.